Yeah, no, I like some of the quarterbacks in college, like I said, because they're not going to be pros. So it's like you're getting the peak of the peak in either 3 or 4 years, of course, now with like 3 or 4 teams instead of maybe not one. But yeah, Tommy Castellanos, like if he can beat, like you said, beat Miami, run the table, because of course Florida's not going to be anything on their schedule, get to the ACC title game. I know I joked about Georgia Tech and Florida State getting in there, but we'll see what happens. The one thing I'm interested to see, I was reading an article, was I guess I'll ask you, Spence. We saw what happened last year with some of the teams that got in, like SMU, some of those teams that, on resume didn't make sense, but of course you couldn't put a 3-loss SEC team or a Big Ten team in the playoff.
Right.
So where are you at this year if we get 3-loss SEC and Big Ten teams versus 1-loss Big 12 ACC team? Because Big 12 is looking hot right now. They, like, in my opinion, they should at least get 2 if they can play this out right.
Well, I mean, look, I feel like a one-loss Big 12 team would definitely be in. I don't think it would come down to between a one-loss Big 12 team, right? Like, how could that even happen? I feel like if you're a one-loss Big 12 team, you're guaranteed to be at least in the Big 12 championship. I mean, I guess, yeah, and then you lose to maybe a 2-loss or a 3-loss team. I guess that could put you on the bubble, but I still feel like that wouldn't happen, right? This is the first time we've ever had to really think about this in college football.
Well, because if you look at it right now, of course, the new format is still 12 teams, but there's no like conference champs getting the top 4 bids. Like, yeah, you'll get in. So conference champ gets in. That's at least one team. It's just, I mean, look at the top 10 right now. You got Big 10, ACC, Big 10, SEC, SEC, Big 10, SEC, ACC, SEC, SEC. Bro, there was no Big 12 team in there. The highest rank is Texas Tech, who looked for real against Utah. So if they win out, or whoever wins the conference gets in, this is where it's going to get dicey, because if you have, let's just say, 1-loss Iowa State, you have 1-loss TCU, 1-loss BYU, and this is where, obviously nobody. I mean, some people talk about it, SEC bias with ESPN deals, because guess what, games are gonna be on the playoffs
for sure
on ESPN, and then that one random ass game on TNT. Like, bro, who got that one?
So this is my thing. I feel like right now, I get that's the AP poll that we see right now. But I feel like every year, whenever the first college football playoff rankings comes out, that's going to completely shift up the AP polling. I feel like some of those Big 12 teams that are on the outskirts, the playoff committee is going to be like, no, we can't have a conference leader on the outside of the top 10. Even if it is a lower echelon team, because obviously if they're lower conference, it's fair to say they're a lower echelon team. But I don't think an undefeated or 1-loss Big 12 team that's leading their conference. Let's say it's Tech, right? Let's say Tech drops this game coming up to, I don't know, they drop a game to U of H. Like, let's say that happens.
Let's make it happen.
Let's see if that happens. I don't think a Texas Tech team that has 1 loss and has dominated this season would be kept out of the top 10 when we get down later on in the season. Like, if they're 10-1 to 11-1 and they're going to the Big 12 championship, they will easily be in the top 10.
Yeah, the debate I'd like to have with you, Spence, is let's say Tech is undefeated, right? Meeting the Big 12. I haven't looked at the schedule, so somebody's going to correct me. They meet, and let's say one of them loses, but the winner's undefeated, the loser's 11-1. Are you going to put them out over, let's say, potentially 10-2 Georgia or 10-2 Bama? Or what if Vanderbilt has the shocker of the year and 11-1? They don't go to the SEC title game, but that's where I'm like, are they going to give the Big 12 some respect? Because you saw almost Arizona State last year take Texas to OT and should have won the game. Should have won the game. I don't know what the defensive coordinator was thinking on 4th down and like 14. Like, yeah, no,
they just decided not to cover Gunnar Helm on the game-winning touchdown. Also, just completely left him open. But no, I think the Big 12. Look, here's the deal: if at this point you cannot be an SEC program with all the conference realignment that's happened over these last few years, I'm sorry, you cannot be an SEC program and complain about not getting in the playoff as a 3-loss team, or if you lose your spot to a 1 or 2 loss Big 12 or ACC team, you're not allowed to complain. You signed up for this when you went to the SEC or you went to the Big 10 and decided, well, I want to have all of us in this conference just beat the hell out of each other for 12 games, and then we'll decide who's the best of all of us. Like, no, y'all started your playoffs in week 4 whenever conference play started. That's, to me, the price they paid when they moved conferences. You don't get to complain about it after that. That's how I feel. I say that also as a fan of a Big 12 school. Take that for what it's worth. Maybe I'm not objective here, but I feel like with all the conference realignment, you can't complain.
So I agree with you on one thing for sure. No, a 3-loss team should not make it. Like, I don't care if it's Alabama. I don't care if it's Vanderbilt. I don't care if it's Georgia. You shouldn't lose 3 games. That's just as easy as that. Because if you look at the AP poll, 17 teams out of 25 are either Big 10 or SEC. So, like you mentioned, you're just going to move over and start getting the snot kicked out of. And for what? For TV media rights? Okay, that's all cute and dandy, but I'm with you, Spence. I think, hey, if TCU finds a way to go 10-2 with Hoover at the helm, who's been a very accurate quarterback, been fun to watch, I want to watch TCU play. Heck, I mean, I don't think Baylor would get in because they've now suffered their second loss, but I'd love to see Sawyer Robinson play just because they've been fun to watch. ACC-wise, I don't know if Tech offensively deserves to be in the playoffs because I know that style that Brent Key plays is a pound and ground. But hey, I would love to see Tech play if they're 10-2. Miami if they're 10-2. Florida State, who beat Alabama, because they prove they can beat one of these top tier teams. So I think it's fun. Spence, I'm not gonna lie. There's one team who should not deserve. I don't even care if their record is 10-1 at the end of the year. They should not make it. Do you know which team I'm talking about?
Notre Dame.
Well, they already got 2. I don't think they should get in anyways. No. The Illinois Fighting Illini. You get the brakes beat off of 63-10. I get it. You're on the road. It's one thing to lose by like 20 points. Hey, we didn't have our A game. Dog, you got the brakes beat off of. Bro, if you wanted an essay case, bro, that was an essay case, bro. Like, Indiana didn't even stop the brakes. Like, do you realize? I don't know. Maybe you haven't noticed. The quarterback for Indiana, Mendoza, who played at Cal last year, played all games at Cal. His touchdown to interceptions was 16-6. This year, through 4 effing games, he's 14-0. Touchdown. Like, I get it. They didn't play nobody the first 3 weeks, but still, like, to get a quarterback to produce numbers, and he's going to go way beyond it. He's at least dropping 32 to tutties. Man, Kirk's SIG is definitely getting some value out of some of these guys. And I'm not going to lie, I was really hoping Illinois was going to beat Indiana just because I used to like Kirk SIG, but ever since he's been dogging the SEC and cupcaking his schedule, I'm like, dude, he can kick rocks, but I got to give him his flowers. He definitely rocked out with his you-know-what out and beat the brakes out of Brett Bielema.
We talked about it last week. I still couldn't believe going into that game that was a big game. That was 9 versus, what was Indiana going to that game?
It was like 16 or some low.
And I'll say this, I had a great weekend picking college football games this weekend, 32-15. One of my biggest losses was Illinois +7 because I looked at it, and I'll admit I haven't seen a whole lot of Illinois this season. I haven't paid attention to them too much, but I just kind of used my sports brain for a sec. I said, okay, we have a number 9 team ranked
in the nation.
I know they're on the road, but it's a Big 10 matchup, and they're 7-point dogs. Okay. Yeah. I think they can make it close. They did not even compete a little bit.
No.
Completely got the brakes beat off them. It was like they had Lovie Smith all over again. Had remnants of those days for the Illini. Yeah. I know there's a Fighting Illini fan out there that had that thought go through their head. Give me Lovie Smith back right now.
Heck yeah. A coach team like Brett Bielema, who's been well known through Wisconsin and Arkansas and all these guys. He's coached great programs. He's coached Illinois, a very great program, like into like, I'm not going to say top tier of the Big Ten, but at least making some noise from the usuals. And to have like the quarterback from Baylor, Luke Altmaier, he's been playing well. So I was shocked too. I had Illinois plus 7.5 because I was thinking like worst case, they lose by 10, they lose by 13, whatever. But yeah, that's the one team I would not have in the playoff. I don't care if they win out. You could not convince me. Like when it comes to the ranking of the rankings, like, hey, you know what? I would put a 9-3 SEC team over Illinois if I had to debate.
Absolutely.
You telling me? Like, imagine the CFP committee going out to be like, yeah, man, we had a hard time debating between a team that lost 3 games and a team that got beat once, but by 53. Like, bro, 53. Matter of fact, another team that I want to chit chat about,
Matt Rhule. Yeah, let's talk about it.
Matt Rhule.
Nebraska falls to Michigan, and Will Compton shaved his head.
Yeah, we saw the bet. We saw that happen. I get it. Don't get me wrong. It was a typical normal game. Nebraska loses to a tight one to Michigan, who's ranked, got the number 1 prospect when Bryce Underwood, fine. But what had me, and Spence, I'm like I said, I must be new to the game. I did not know Matt Rhule had his own podcast show. So before the game started, it might have been Tuesday or Wednesday. I see him on his podcast show, House Rules. That's the name. He's on with
good name.
Yeah, it is pretty good name. He's on with Dave Portnoy, trash talking about the game, and if you're gonna come, and it had me thinking, Spence, if this was like you mentioned, Will Compton, Dave Portnoy chit-chatting about their teams, that's one thing. But imagine if Nick Saban or Kirby Smart on a podcast before a big effing game, not just a big game at home, a team that you haven't beat, and to sprinkle it all off. Nebraska hasn't beat a ranked team out of like the last 27 games. It's been since 2016. Spence, we were doing, never mind, I'm not going to say that out loud. We were doing stuff in 2016, and Nebraska still had not beaten anybody. And I'm a little thrown off because there's no way on earth you are on a podcast. Like, bro, get in the film. Get Dylan Rhule more explosive. Like, what on God's earth are we doing? Like, Matt Rhule, you should do what Paul George did with Playoff P, whatever podcast it was. Do that in the offseason.
Focus quit in the middle of the season and say we're focusing on a championship.
Yeah,
and then not even come close to a championship.
Bro, because they've been playing mid all year. Like, the offense has not been spectacular. Yeah, they've beaten Cincinnati and some other bums, but they haven't done nothing. And to get Michigan at home, now, of course, Spence, I did cash the 3.5 point spread. Well, I'm not too mad at that part. But Matt Rhule, come on, big dog, man. You cannot be doing a podcast. You want to do this against Western Kentucky of Mississippi Valley? Be my effing guest. But don't be shooting no podcast the week of Michigan. Some of these other teams you're probably going to have to play. I just thought it was a bad look for me. Maybe I'm too old school. Maybe Matt Rhule is connecting with the recruiting because he's podcasting, got his chain on. I get it. But damn, man. I know he hasn't been the coach since 2016. Most of that is effing Scott Frost's dumbass. But come on, man. You're trying to hold the Nebraska Big Red tradition. But nah, dude.
I know you don't play EA college football, but he was trying to hard sell one of his prospects. So he had to do the podcast interview. That's one of the options to hard sell a recruit in college football. So Matt Rhule was just taking a page out of EA college football when he decided to start his own podcast. But you mentioned earlier, like, imagine Nick Saban. There's a reason Nick Saban is no longer a college football coach. It's because this is what college football has become. It's like Nick Saban is like, no, I'm not. This is stupid. I'm not doing this.
Heck yeah. Even Kirby Smart. I know the only oddball who probably does. I haven't watched most of the podcast. If there was someone who did an SC, it'd be Lane Kiffin. But you know what Lane Kiffin is. He's going 10-2 or 9-3. Like, he doesn't give a crap. Heck, you saw the episode with I forget, Kevin Hart show, Cold on Balls or whatnot. Sidney Thomas, cold as balls. Sidney Thomas goes out there and says, "Bro, Lane Kiffin been DMing me," but you know what he's going to do? He's going 9-3 or 10-2. Like, it's nothing spectacular.
Well, I don't want to go ahead. We still have a couple more things we want to talk about in week 4, but looking ahead just real briefly to week 5, James, with this Ole Miss LSU game, probably the biggest one of the weekend. Huge game in the SEC. Did you see what happened with Lane Kiffin, though?
I saw, hey, man, my man might need to participate in a dunk contest, big dog, like Steve Nash did. Hit it off the head.
Oh, I don't think you know what I'm talking about then, because that's not what I'm
Oh,
talking about. So,
tell me what you're talking about.
his daughter went IG official, allegedly. Allegedly. I saw this in the rumor mill on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
But allegedly, Lane Kiffin's daughter went IG official with a linebacker from LSU the week of this game.
Bro, she doing the dirty work, bro. She getting the plays.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what, like, it's just really weird timing. And it's a linebacker at LSU. You'll have to look into this and fact check me on it. But that's what I saw on the rumor mill, was that Lane Kiffin's daughter is booed up with an LSU linebacker, and she went IG official. Big step in the relationship in 2025. They're IG official now the week of their game.
Bro, I'm glad you got those stats. I thought we were chit-chatting about
this is college football in 2025, James.
Bro,
this is the stuff that matters.
Bro, hey, that's why I'm retired like Nick Saban, dog, bro. I want the paid illegally under the table. I want the Dodge Challengers outside, bro. I don't want nothing. Bro, I can't rock with like Brian Kelly and the whole 360 camera thing, just doing it with recruits, man. I think everyone, I ain't gonna lie, I think recruiting's gone a little more homo, if you want. Bro, I hate to say it like that, but like, hey, like you said, you got to do it, bro. I can't wait for there'll be some coach that paints their fingernails to get a recruit, because that's what some of the boys
100%.
do. Yeah, I'm just waiting for somebody to do that. Actually, you talked about it. Ole Miss 1.5 point favorite against LSU. You taking it?
No, I'm taking LSU.
Really? Okay.
I mean, look, this is definitely a game they could afford to lose on their resume.
Yeah.
But I think they win. I have LSU as one of the best teams in the SEC this year. I think they're going to at least be in the SEC championship game.
They've beaten 4 teams. But now I'm looking at their resume, which is only just Florida and Clemson, and we think of them. So I'm going to give a bit of an edge. I'll go opposite of you. I'll go Ole Miss in this game for sure. Matter of fact, what was your reaction to the College Game Day site this week? This week is going to be in Penn State for the Penn State-Oregon game. What are your thoughts on that? Because there was a lot of folks who are upset because, yes, like I mentioned, SEC bias on ESPN, and they thought they should have gone to Athens for the Bama-Georgia game.
Well, I feel like it's going to be one of those things where, like, we know College Game Day is going to go there at some point this season. They'll be there. It's not this week, but they're going to go there at some point for a big game later down the schedule. Like, let's not for so many SEC fans, James, and you can speak on this because you are one. Why do we care so much about this? I get it. It's good for the school. It's fun for the students that are there, but I see grown ass men complaining about this on TikTok and Twitter. Why are we mad about College Game Day? Let the kids be mad about this. You weren't going to it anyways. You're going to watch it no matter where it was, and they're going to talk about the game the same amount.
You know what's worse about some of those grown-ass men that you were talking about? Most of them probably didn't even go to the school. You know what I mean? It's like, dog, you don't even know your way around the campus. Don't worry about a damn ESPN kickoff is going to be there. No, I'm with you. As much as I would prefer it to be Georgia and Bama, Bama should have beaten Florida State, and maybe they would have been in Athens for a top 10 matchup. But you have 2 undefeated Big Ten teams, and I'm excited for this one because this is obviously, for me, Spence, you know me, I've hated James Franklin for X amount of years now. I think he is good head coach. He's not a great head coach, and I know with the expansion of the playoffs, he's going to get a 10-year deal because he can get in at 10-2 and never beat Ohio State and Michigan. But now he gets Oregon, and how about this? Matter of fact, Big Ten, thank you for not making this a Big Ten kickoff noon game. That would have pissed me off. You would have freaking done Oregon at Penn State at noon. So luckily this is a 7:30 game. But Spence, for me, I know when it comes to NFL hopefuls, it's another thing. This is a make it or break it game for Drew Aller, for me, because he hasn't done it against Michigan or Ohio State. And you can say, oh, they're the real Big Ten team. Oregon just got in the Big Ten, and they're not stopping what they're doing. And Dan Lanning, I love the way he coaches his defense.
Great coach. He's one of my favorite coaches in the nation.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Very, very good coach.
And Dante Moore, who has been very efficient, as the quarterback right now, he's leading this team. And I really want to see how Drew Aller faces off, because yeah, you can beat Toledo, you can beat Hawaii, or you can beat whoever the F. You can't cover the spread, but you can beat those teams. Let's see you step up against a big dog where, you know, and don't get me wrong, last year this game was good in the Big Ten championship, but still 45-37 Oregon. It's James Franklin on the outside looking in. And
all those people preseason that pick Penn State.
dude, we'll just wait till they get their hearts broken once again. I feel like my time is due though on some of this, because I've been a hater on some of these teams. I've been right on some of these teams, like with Clemson and the others, but bro, I'm waiting for Penn State to fall, and I'm like, hey.
Yeah, it could just finally be the year that James Franklin gets the can.
Dude, and that's the thing. You know what's crazy? Some people are going to be like, how could you fire James Franklin, who's won so many X Games? LSU did it to Les Miles. Remember that. I mean, Les Miles won actually something with LSU before he got booted. But when you go consistently 8-4, 9-3 in the SEC, it's just not going to cut it. I'm not going to lie. I didn't think they were ever going to win one, but Coach O got Joe Burrow to come through the side, recruited hell on the wide receiver side, and damn, they one of the best offenses you ever seen in life. But James Franklin, people got to remember, like, James Franklin coached Vanderbilt. He did phenomenal things, just like Coach Lee is doing right now. But James Franklin is only as good as he can get. And right now, hey, man, you ain't got Saquon on your side, and you ain't got Trubisky. No, not Trubisky. McSorley. I couldn't remember his name, but it's McSorley.
Throw it on a dime.
But no, Spence, one thing I think I was interested in chit-chatting about, Spence, is, I'm not going to lie. I think for some odd reason, man, I find it odd that I think USC might find a way to get in this finally. And you know what's crazy? I forgot who almost coached the team because they've been such bums since Lincoln Riley went there. Bro, so they have Illinois this week.
Yeah.
But of course, guess what? Of course, after I talk crap about Illinois, I don't know what the spread is, but I might pick Illinois because I think USC, that's like a 9 a.m. game for them when they play at like noon in Champaign. So I might bet Illinois, and this is all going to be rubbish after a week.
Let's see. Pulling up the odds now. So, okay, if you were setting a line, what would you set it at?
If I'm setting the line, if I was an over-exaggerant public bettor, I would probably have like 6 points USC favorite after what you saw. But knowing that people in the betting lines do not overreact, they got Illinois as a comfortable 3.5 point favorite.
No, you had it right the first time, dude. USC is 6.5 point favorites.
Oh, okay.
I think Vegas sending a message about what they think they saw this past weekend from Illinois.
Oh, that might be pretty good. I might have to put my little 6 point
line on it.
I'll go on the line. Be like, come on, Brett Bielema, man. You did me dirty last week. You're not doing me dirty again. Oh man. No, other things, Spence. I thought last week was pretty fun week to watch. College football. I mean, Arizona State had their hopes stayed in, freaking beating Baylor last second. I didn't even know the kicker, 17-year-old kid. I'm like, damn. When I heard him, they said he was a 17-year-old kid, and I saw the ethnicity on this kid. I was like, and he came from Arizona. I was like, okay, big dog. Hey, I get why.
I got one more thing I want to talk about to wrap up week 4.
Yeah.
What'd you think about Texas finally looked good? They finally covered 55 zip over Sam Houston State. But what do you think about
Sam Houston State?
What do you think about Arch Manning standing over the Sam Houston State defender on his touchdown? What do you think about that? I don't know if words were exchanged to lead to that, but I was like, Arch, why are you flexing on Sam Houston State, brother? What are we doing?
Someone said it earlier. Why are you flexing on someone who's about to sell insurance in 2 years?
Yeah, buddy. Like, you are royalty. You have a bloodline of football excellence. You should be doing that to Sam Houston State. Why are we flexing here?
I'll say it like this. Arch was in his comfort zone. Remember, he was a high school quarterback. So when he had his moment to do it in high school, he said, oh, man, I picked my guy, and I'm gonna do what I did back in high school. And yeah, that's what he did. He felt comfortable in his zone, beating up on the little guys, which we'll see what happens when the big dogs come back. But no, I thought it was a little weak, the stand up. The matter of fact, bro, hey, if that was an NFL, bro, that's a taunting penalty, bro.
Absolutely. I was surprised it didn't get called.
Yeah.
I feel like excessive celebrating is even a bigger deal in college. Or at least
Dude,
it should be. These are kids we're talking about, James.
Yeah, dude, these are kids, man. I will say,
multimillionaire kids, but these are kids.
Whenever I'll turn the table on another orange team. Spence, you want to talk about full on dictatorship? How is Mike Gundy still the coach at Oklahoma State? A report came out and said he's going to remain the head coach beyond 2025. Bro, who's running this program? Is he the athletic director and the GM and the head coach? Like, dude, I can't believe this program has fallen off so hard. And you would have thought they left to the SEC. Dude, your two biggest, like, you want to call it rivals, whatever, Texas and Oklahoma, go to the SEC. You piss off the freaking Bedlam, rivalry. You cut that consecutive streak off, and then you have one good season outside of the Big 12. But after that, you've been just dog water. Like, you lost to Tulsa straight up. Tulsa was a 14, 15-point underdog, and they lost. This is bad. Like, I get it. There's going to be bad years, but it literally spins. Oklahoma State has lost the last 11 out of 12 games dating back to last year. And the program hasn't beaten an FBS team since they beat Tulsa last year in September. So they haven't beat nobody. And they got the brakes beat off by Oregon. Like, they lost to Oregon 69-3. Bro, you know who gets beat 69-3? FCS schools. What are we doing?
Yeah. Anything else before we wrap this up, James?
Yes, there's one more thing. Bro, what do you think about some of these posers we have on internet TV, personalities? Like, and I do this, I get it, what they're trying to do. But Dave Portnoy, he big Michigan Wolverine, pee-pee glazer. He is, he's always Big Ten, Michigan, hard, go blue, whatever. And he goes out on Big 12 noon kickoff rocking head to toe Utah. Like, I know I've seen a few people that pose as fans and they're not real fans, like people we know left and right. They do it for like clicks and all that. But come on, Dave, like it's one thing, you got your fun little deal, and I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the clicks and this and that, but bro, we read through the lines, we read through the BS, but this is all BS, bro. And anyone who fakes being a fan of these teams, it's one thing to be a one-day rental. Bro,
I have a lot of teams that I cheer for, James. I cheer, I'm Houston Cougars #1 over everything, but I cheer for Oklahoma. I cheer for Texas A&M. I cheer for Mississippi State. There's a lot of schools I cheer for. All right.
I'm probably double the schools you are. I get that part.
But I don't know about pandering. I don't know how I feel about pandering, because I at least can justify my love for those schools. Just pandering, like who are you at the end of the day? Who are you at the end of the day? If you were just someone that's just going to drench yourself from head to toe because you made a bet on them.
Yeah, or you got some weird side gig with them, bro. Like almost like when Brian Kelly showed up at Louisiana and he started trying to talking like Coach O at that basketball game. Like,
I made a big bet on the Eagles in the Super Bowl. I wore a beanie. That was it. It was a beanie, and that was it. Now for a day, I was a diehard Eagles fan, and you know what? I cashed it. I have no regrets.
And as soon as the game was over,
I literally, James, me and you planned it out. I was like, I knew I was going to bet on the Eagles. I said, I just want a beanie. And I remember you were trying to get me to wear more, and I was like, nah, Brad.
Yeah, I brought the whole 9. He was like, just give me a beanie. And as soon as the game was over, we cashed our bet. You took the beanie off, and you said, Bulls on parade, bro.
Mm-hmm. H-Town till I drown.
Yeah, but no,
loyalty is dead in college football, not just for the players that are transferring every offseason, but apparently for fans as well.
Mm-hmm.